And now, Effective Communication with Phil Zeller, CEO, Dale Carnegie, Southwest Michigan.
Hello, I hope you're having a fantastic day today. Have you gotten together with any family recently? You know, it's that time of year where a lot of people are trying to catch up with their family, you know, try to spend some good time vacationing and catching up and seeing how they're doing. And recently I just got back from a family reunion. You know, it's always amazing when you get connected back with your family, especially coming off these last few years of COVID where you haven't seen people in a while. And did you notice people have changed? Have you noticed any changes in people in your family? You know, you haven't seen them a couple of years, maybe cousins, aunts, uncles, extended family members, and you start to notice some changes. And it was kind of like surreal because you watch these people and the way they interact, and you have this framework in your mind of what you expect, how they're going to relate, and how they're going to communicate. And then all of a sudden things are different. You with me on this? You see these differences, and it's a little different than it was a couple of years ago with these people. And maybe you found yourself in a situation like that. And today I want to share with you some of these situations because you're probably running into them. And of course, here on Effective Communication, I'm your host, Phil Zeller, and it's an honor to be with you because, you know, building better relationships through effective communication is so critical to human being success. You know, if you can't communicate, if you can't relate, you're gonna struggle in life. It's a given. It's common sense, right? So I'm preaching to the choir right now. I get it. But I want to set the tenor for this for today because as you think about these relationships with your family, especially your extended family, which you don't always see, some of those relationships may have been strained over the past couple of years with the pandemic. And really looking at how do you build those bridges back and how do you get on the same page when people have been so polarized and so isolated in their ideas and what they think. And then you get inundated by the media that says you need to take a side, you need to take a side. And what are you taking a side on? Well, you're taking on a side, you only have 2% of information on 100% of a topic. And you're asking yourself, how do I get through this conversation with another human being so that nobody gets offended, no feathers are ruffled, and we're going to be able to move forward and build this relationship? Well, the biggest thing right now is when you're in these situations is really taking the time to be that empathetic listener. And I've shared that with that before on the show of the highest level of listening is being an empathetic listener. And it's a listener who's challenged themselves to seek understanding. That's what you're trying to do, seek understanding. Because a lot of people right now know a lot of stuff up at a very shallow level about a lot of different topics. Why? Because we, of course, live in the information age where we have a lot of information coming at us all day long. And a lot of people can go about 2 whys deep into the conversation before they realize that's all the information I have. I don't have much more. So to try to get in a really deep conversation with somebody right now has been difficult for a lot of people. And people come with me and we'll take a topic they want to go into and we'll go really deep into it. And I'll ask 5, 7, 9 whys deep into that to really understand where is this person coming from based upon their experiences. And people look at me and go, wow, I haven't had a conversation like that in forever. That is so refreshing. Can we do this like once a month and have this conversation, Phil? and I think to myself, well, what if all of us did that? What if we just stopped for a moment, took the time to really understand where other people are coming from? How much more value would there be in your conversation with somebody else? How much more would somebody appreciate you and what you know and what you bring to the table if they could have a more meaningful conversation with you? So as you're having conversations with people, I'm challenging you to think about what is it? What is it that you really know? What is it that they really know? And the easiest thing to do is start to take a look at what do they know and how do you do that? Well, what you do is you don't say, what do you know? That's not the way you come across. You ease into it and you say, share with me. You know, what experience have you had? What have you gone through? And then they start sharing with you about a topic. So I was at the family reunion, an uncle of mine had started talking about the riots at the Capitol and stuff. And I'm like, well, tell me more about that. I haven't watched all the news shows on that. I've heard stuff about it. There's a lot of stuff being talked about it, and tell me about it. So he started to give his opinion on what he knew. And as I asked more questions and being very curious, as not being fully informed on everything that has to do with that because I wasn't there, and I don't know people that were there firsthand. I only hear everything secondhand what the news wants me to hear. And so I'm asking him questions. What does he know, and who has he talked to? And before you know it, he goes, I haven't talked to people about this. I just watch the news like everybody else, and I got an opinion on it. And I said, I hear you. So tell me, where does that go when you have an opinion on that, and where's this thing going to end up? And he kind of looked at me and said, well, I don't know, Phil. I don't know. And I said, it's interesting that we got the chance to say, I don't know, and we got a chance to dig in deeper. So I'm going to challenge you as you're out there talking to your family and your friends and stuff, take the time to understand. Be an empathetic listener. Understand more. And through that conversation, what they're going to find is they're going to be forced to dig deeper. But they're going to grow, and you're going to grow in the communication, and you'll have more valuable conversations. Now go make it happen.